Well, it's come down to this final week of the regular season. I do have some week 14 specific waiver wire pickups I'll do at the end of the video. But as usual, what I do in these videos and at fantasypoints.com with our massive waiver wire report should be award winning. I don't know if they give out awards for waiver wire reports. Ours should get it. At least should be nominated, but I digress. I pull out my top 15 pickups of the week, guys who are kind of standing out to me, usually based on recent developments, and obviously gets harder and harder as the season gets deeper and deeper and longer into it and all that. But I do have a pretty good list here. Still picking through some scraps and all that. So let's get right to it. Obviously, Ezekiel Elliott should be atop of the list. Only owned in 40% of Yahoo leagues. I guess X-rays came back negative on Ramondre Stevenson, but it is a short week. So I think we're certainly looking at Zeke carrying the load. We're looking at 20 opportunities here. It's not the worst matchup in Pittsburgh. The Steelers, as I pointed out in my Hansen's Hints article, and I'm sure we did throughout the site, they have been run on. They were giving up 4.2 yards a carry. The running backs going into Sunday's game. And then James Conner, in a revenge game, went for 100 plus with a couple of touchdowns. So, yeah, wouldn't put it past Zeke Elliott to, have a solid RB2 day in week 14. Also, and I'm just going to go in order of priority here, honestly. I'm not going to do every single dude in the 15, but actually, you know what? I'll stick with positions here. The other running back in the top 15 was, of course, my guy Tajay Spears, who looked unbelievable in week 13. Derrick Henry is expected to play in week 14, but there's a reason I listed Derrick Henry 3 weeks ago on the site in my trade article as a player to trade for because of these two matchups the last 2 weeks against the Colts and the Panthers in Tennessee. And what happened? Derrick Henry scored 4 touchdowns. Now the schedule gets a lot more difficult, and I could see them absolutely shying away a little bit from Derrick Henry as the season progressed and rolling a little bit more with Tajay Spears. Again, he's still not 100% locked, but Miami, Houston, Seattle, Houston again, the last 4 games, the next 4 games, that's not great game scripts for one Derrick Henry in Miami, especially this week. That could be a Tajay Spears game. So, yeah, and he looked great in week 13, making unblocked guys miss. Man, is he good. The other running back on the list was, well, actually Roshan Johnson, still on the list, still only owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues out there. I still think he's the best bet in the backfield, given his 3-down skill set. I like to bank on younger players, of course. And, we don't even know where Deontay Foreman is right now. So Roshan, for what it's worth, if you're looking for depth or even a dude to start in a pinch. And then the other running back could be something, could be nothing. Chris Rodriguez, the rookie out of Kentucky. They are on a bye this week. If Brian Robinson's hamstrings, though, have him miss multiple weeks, multiple games, Chris Rodriguez is definitely your early down back. It's not Antonio Gibson at all. Gibson gets a boost as well, but Gibson is not an early down back. We've learned that, and certainly Robinson was in for many of the snaps. Once Robinson went down, Rodriguez, was kind of operating as their lead back. Wide receivers, I mean, I'd look at Noah Brown, of course, with Tank Dell out for the season. They may have pushed the envelope a little bit. They're overusing my man Tank Dell, but Noah Brown, certainly other guys involved here, Bobby Trees, Robert Woods, and my other guy, Johnny Meacham. But, I mean, clearly Noah Brown's the guy to bank on there. He's off this week, but how about a little Curtis Samuel? He's looked very good the last 2 weeks. He's a little matchup specific, but maybe not, because the outside receivers for DC have really been bad this year, especially Jahan Dotson. How about one of my all-time favorites here? Well, not all-time, but, lately. And it's been mostly bad analysis or bad results. Elijah Moore, who is actually, despite not scoring over the last 4 games, is technically a wide receiver 3 with a terrible catch rate as well of like 52%, but 35 targets in his last 4 games and 18 grabs for 231 and decent game and competent quarterback play with Joe Flacco. As I said all week last week, like he's going to help. He can still throw a football. This guy's been an anti-Gurite for a while, but Devontae Parker, he did look good last week in week 13, yesterday, as I record this on Monday night. And, he is their only outside receiver, really, of note. Only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. He did play hard. He just missed a would have been a great catch for, I think, 46 yards. So he actually could have gone off in week 13. I have given love to Jonathan Mingo here on these videos as a stash guy, like maybe a month and a half ago. Didn't really work out, but now better late than never. And, it's in their best interest to continue to throw him the ball. They're kind of not forcing it to him, but they're clearly looking to get him going and looking to gain some momentum with his fellow rookie at quarterback there and Bryce Young. Jalen Hyatt, I think Tyrod Taylor is back this week. I know he's back, eligible to return from injured reserve, could start as soon as week 14. The Giants are a proud organization. They do want to win. They're not tanking it. I do radio every week with Bob Papa, the play-by-play voice of the Giants, and I've talked with them on the air, off the air about it. Like, same story. Very proud organization. They're not tanking it. So maybe they go to Tyrod, which I would view as an upgrade for Jalen Hyatt, give him a better chance of, making a big play. But at the very least, with Tommy DeVito, you have two capable quarterbacks who can get Jalen Hyatt the ball. And once again, like, what do they have to lose? Absolutely nothing, other than maybe, a high draft pick. But, let's get this guy going, get him reps, get him looks, get him on tape, get him more experience against NFL DBs. And they take shots to him every week now. So I think he has a chance to make like one big play every week. Rashad Bateman as well. Again, lower end guys here. But if I'm betting on someone here, other than, of course, Zay Flowers, it would be the younger Bateman. I just go to younger players, and he's playing over OBJ right now. Anyway, tight ends. How about Chiggy Okonkwo, who I stupidly did not start in a league last week, but maybe not this week, although against Miami, they'll probably have to throw it a lot in Miami. But after that, man, really nice matchups here for tight ends. Week 15 against Houston. That's a potent offense too. Could be playing from behind. Then home against Seattle, almost the same thing. Then at Houston after that. So those are really good matchups for tight ends. Gerald Everett, I know I was giving him love earlier. I thought maybe he was a thing, but he might still be. At the very least, this week against Denver, very good matchup. We're going to get into some other matchups here, matchup-related pickups actually right now here on this Fantasy Points video. Thank you for liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. Good luck in the playoffs and all that jazz. But just using very basic data. I mean, we're talking Monday here for the best matchups for the waiver wire pickups for week 14. Quarterback, I've got my man Joe Flacco. As I mentioned multiple places, I am kidding, but kind of not. He goes to the same pizzeria that I do. So the man knows what he's talking about. That's all I've got to say. He's very good at decision-making and very important things like NFL football and where to get your pizza. And also looked good throwing it last week. And he's got the Jaguars this week at home. They're giving up digits here, 22.7 points per game. The Gardner, he looked pretty damn good last week. Gardner Minshew against Cincinnati. It's a good matchup. And then Baker Mayfield at Atlanta. Let's go to wide receivers. Hate to bring up the name. I really do. But maybe a little Darnell Mooney for a big play against the Lions this week. Mike Gallup, I know he's the odd man out, but I assume Brandon Cooks is picked up, but it should be a shootout against the Philly Birds. What a good matchup here. Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson's hamstring here on Monday, late afternoon. Doesn't seem that serious, but he could certainly miss time. Wicks is technically the backup. Senior Bowl guy last year, so pretty experienced guy for a rookie, and he's looked really good. And technically, like I said, he is the backup to Watson. Then the aforementioned Eli Moore, who is available in a lot of leagues. Pretty good matchup against the Jaguars. And then last but not least, some tight ends for week 14, all based on just a basic points per game given up. And I only use data from the last 5 weeks, by the way, because that's what NFL teams do. 4 to 5 weeks, they only go back. Seasons within the season. So you don't want to look at what these defenses were doing back in September. I must admit, the Falcon guys, Kyle Pitts, of course, did pretty well in week 13, been dropped in a lot of leagues. Isaiah Likely, who is also still the top tight end waiver wire pickup other than Okonkwo, the aforementioned Everett this week against the Broncos. Cade Otton, good matchup by the numbers against Atlanta. And then last but not least, Tyler Conklin. Dude, all he does is catch 3 balls, maybe not more than that, but 3 is not too shabby. And you'll be not too shabby, hopefully, if you continue to consume these videos and all that good stuff. It's never too late to subscribe to the website. By the way, I've been doing really well with my prop, 72% the last 3 weeks. And I'm not talking a few number of prop. I'm talking like, I don't know, 60. So maybe more. So doing pretty well there. So check out the website, all kinds of special discounts going on right there right now. And once again, thank you for liking and subscribing. Good luck in week 14, and we'll catch you next time.